Okay, I'm at 225 Haver Road in Dayton, Ohio. Doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. Where you are looking for any structural issues or root intrusion, anything, bellies, anything that may be of concern to the buyer. The access point here, there's multiple, and so we're hoping that I can get, this is the rearmost or most upstream access that I'm capable of getting in. It is looks like a 3-inch cast iron stack. It does have some PVC tied into it, and there's a bathroom just on the other side of this wall here. And then if I need to, depending on how this snakes around, there's also a floor clean out and a couple other things towards the front of the house. So we're hoping we can make it all the way out to the main from here, but if not, there are some other access points that may help. This is a pretty small access point here going down, but should go down to the bottom and turn out towards the street. Gotta make sure we can get it to go. And looks like we kind of looks like I may be going the wrong way in here. It's a T. It's sitting on a T here at the base of this cast iron stack. So yep, it keeps turning back on itself here. There we go. Alright. So, we finally got it to go downstream. And this is cast iron. Based off the age of the house, this should be cast iron until it exits the house, and then it should switch over to vitrified clay. Looks like we're winding over, hopefully straight into the line that goes straight out to the main. See some other tie-ins. We'll try to, like I said, we're trying to get as far back or start from as far upstream or back as possible. That way we can inspect as much line as possible. But there are, branches from floor drains, stuff like that that may not be able to be inspected. But there are, but they will be testing the fixtures that feed those lines. Cast iron is common in between 40s and 70s up to late 70s. They still use it today, but only in commercial use. But the biggest problem is it all looks ugly like this because it rusts from the inside. And so it's kind of hard to judge the lifespan of it unless you can see visible holes in it. You don't know if it's if it's got 10 years, 20 years left. It's kind of hard to tell. And so this looks very good. It doesn't have a whole lot of channeling at the bottom, or it's got a relatively small amount of rust hanging off the pipe walls. But again, you can never really gauge the lifespan. The one thing I do want to note is one thing that's major with cast iron. It's bad for every sewer line, but wet wipes are a major problem because they can easily catch on the rust on the side of the pipe. And they catch and then they don't break down. Toilet paper will break down into the water and allow for it to disintegrate and go on down the line. Even if it does catch on something, wet wipes don't do that. They usually catch, they don't disintegrate, and then the stuff builds up behind them. So just a recommendation to not use wet wipes in any line, but more importantly for cast iron. Okay, so it's starting to get hard to push after so many turns, which is kind of normal. The line kind of snakes through here, so we're having a little bit of trouble making all these turns. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to locate this spot and see where we are, and then I can make a move to another. Since I am 52 feet out, I can kind of make sure that I'm past another access point, and we'll try to make a move. There is a floor clean out just before the line exits the house that I'm hoping if I'm past that or just underneath it, that I can just access that point. We'll be able to go from there all the way out to the street without much more issue. So that should be a pretty straight line. So I'm going to pause the video here, and just a note too, that water level. The camera lens is only about a half an inch off the bottom of the pipe, and due to the smaller access point where I am now, I'm unable to get a standoff on it, but there's a little bit of water. It's not a lot. Like I said, it's about maybe a half inch in a 4-inch line, so it's not much. The lines are relatively flat inside houses most of the time. Minimum pitch is about 1/8 of an inch per foot, and so they're relatively flat when they're inside the house. And so they sometimes you'll have just a little bit of water collecting, but again, it's not much, and it's not an issue. So okay, I'm going to pause the video, get that locate, and see if we can make a move. Okay, so this is almost perfect. I am right underneath. You can see how the water dissipated while we were sitting there. And I don't know what is all tied into it in the rear lines, but there may have been somebody running a sink or something like that. So you can see that water that was standing is dissipated. And we are sitting right underneath that clean out that I was speaking about earlier. It is right in the very center of the front of the house. And that's where the line exits the house. So maybe if we pull back, you might be able to see the connection on the very top of the pipe there. But that is exactly where we are. This is a turn right before that. And so we'll be able to make that move. If you can see it just ahead, there's that opening in the pipe, and that's what that clean out is. That's where we'll, accessing the line from next. So we will be able to inspect the whole main line anyway. This obviously tied into it. There's also a line that's right next to the door, the back door that goes out next to the garage door. And we want to, may end up trying to go through that if it's an easy access, to just get another little side branch since there is so much pipe under the floor in here. But all this looks really good. Like I said, cast iron is ugly because it rusts, but I don't see any holes or anything in the line. It all looks like it's in pretty good shape. You can see how many turns and stuff it has to go through to make it out to that center line. And I am vertical. If you watch the bottom left-hand part of the screen too, you can see that's an angle indicator for the camera. It just kind of tells what angle it's sitting at and the pitch of the pipe if needed, that kind of stuff. So you can see we'll go back out of that clean out. I'm going to pause the video for a second. And we're going to make a move to another access point. Okay, so we made the move to the front floor clean out in the basement. We were just passed, so we should be able to get from here the rest of the way out to the main. You can see there it is in the floor, just here inside the underneath the water meter. And if I need to, I can actually, looks like I've got a little bit of stuff on the camera here. I need to rinse it off. Okay, so you can see, put the, as soon as I come up to it, I will zero out the camera again. There's just a little bit of that water right there as soon as we go into it. There we go. So again, that's not a whole lot of water. And as soon as we get outside, we go into clay, which is what was expected. So if we can't get a little bit more look on this, I will go get a standoff and we will make a second pass if necessary. Okay. Yeah, just a little bit of water. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to pull it back. I'm going to pull the camera back. I'm going to put a standoff on the front of the camera so we can raise it up out of that little bit of water there. Like I said, in a 6-inch pipe, it's a very, very little water, but the camera is so small that half an inch of water in there. So if people are using fixtures right now, it's just going to be enough to cover the lens. So we're going to pull back, pause, and I'm going to attach a standoff to raise the camera up a little bit, and then we'll go back through. Okay, got the standoff on there. So going back down through here again. And I can hear some water running. It seems like they are testing fixtures right now, so you can see how the water's clear. And of course now, because it goes lens down first, I'm going to have to try to pull this out again and try to rinse it off again because it keeps hitting the all that cast iron when it oxidizes turns to like almost like a liquid charcoal. It's like a black soot inside the pipe, and so you can see with all this water running. There we go. My camera is above it, but it kept hitting it first and getting it all over the front of the lens. And so we have a couple feet of cast iron here until it gets past the foundation and it switches to clay. There. And so what we're looking for out here, the most common things are some like big offsets, and root intrusion is another big thing because the lines, clay They were in sections of like 3 to 4 feet, and so there are a lot of pipe connections. And so over years, the packing in the connections breaks down, and it starts allowing roots in. But so far, I haven't seen anything, so that's good. Just a lot of spider webs, which is a pretty good indication that the water level hasn't gotten very high. You can see the wear mark on the side of the pipe, where even under heavy use, it only gets up to maybe halfway, which is good. This is some toilet paper. Let's see if we can punch by this. There we go. So far, this pipe looks really good. No major offsets in the pipe connections you can see, because there's one, and then again, seems like less than 3 feet, you have another one. And see, now this white stuff, this is either grease or there have been some root treatments. It can be calcite also, which would be like groundwater getting in and leaving calcium deposits. Some of the connections, it's not uncommon to see. That's the most likely thing there. But it's not down in the flow line, it's not affecting flow at all. It's up around the edge of the pipe and keeping the shape of the pipe. Let's see, like this stuff, yeah. Let's see if we can mess with it. It could just be grease. A lot of times people don't realize how much grease goes down with not just your kitchen sink, your dishwasher, and also your washer. When you use fabric softener, it's a oil base. It's got a lot of oil in it, and it leaves a greasy coating. Also, when they treat, sometimes it's really hard to tell what they look like, but when they treat roots with a chemical, sometimes this is what it looks like. And I'm wondering if that's what this is. If there was some root intrusion and it's been treated with chemicals multiple times, and so we have just kind of, it burns them back. It doesn't kill the tree, but the chemical kind of burns back the roots so they don't grow into the flow line or into the pipe. Based off of the change of material, now we are in SDR35, which is a PVC, a plastic. And this usually means that we've exited the property, and this has been replaced by the municipality. So it means we should be getting fairly close to the main, depending on whether it's in the street. I think that's where we're heading now, is we're dropping straight down into the sewer main. See some of the water running by a little bit. So at 98 feet, we've made it all the way out to the sewer main. It's 98 feet from the front clean out. And so the line looked really good. So structurally, everything looked great. Did have a few spots there with some calcite, or I think what that really is some a little bit of root intrusion that has been treated with a chemical. And that's what it looks like after it's been treated. It's that white residue. It almost looks like a grease coating. think that is, like I said, it's either calcium deposits, but I think the more likely explanation is that is some root intrusion here that has been covered when they treat it with a chemical. That's the layer it leaves on it. It could be grease. Grease is also that texture and color, but it just seemed a little strange for it to only be at the connections like that. I mean, there's other spots, but I think that has been treated with like some Rudex, and that's what those sections are. If you really look, that looks like that's probably roots in there. So it's minimal. They're not, there's nothing in the flow line. The line is functioning normally. It's just something that you'd want to look at temporarily. I would ask the owner, the current owner, if they do treat the line with like Rudex or a copper sulfate type of. There's many different kinds, but the main ingredient in most of them are the good ones anyway, is like a copper sulfate that foams up and attaches to the roots. I mean, you can see again like the evidence of all these spider webs. The water level hasn't gotten up, haven't caused any issues, but just something that you would want to monitor in the future to see if it needs any maintenance. It is pretty common to have to maintenance old sewer lines, so if you need to do a chemical treatment every now and then, it's not out of the ordinary. I also wanted to add that some of the water flowing through here is also storm. They would have some of these, at least some of the floor drains around the exterior of the home would probably go in, like near man doors and stuff. They would probably come in and tie into the sanitary system. See, if that is the case, you do want to make sure that those are cleared out so you don't get any debris in the main line. Here we are back at the clean out. Have to kind of shake this thing loose a little bit because that little standoff catches on that Y. And we are back out of the line. So, the line looked great. Structurally, everything was great. The connections were nice and tight. There were no offsets. We did find a couple spots, 3 or 4, where it looked like evidence of some root treatment. So there probably was a little bit of roots getting in. That's not uncommon at all. So you may want to talk to again the current owner and see if they've treated the line at all with some like Rudex or one of those type of like root treatments for sewer lines. They make quite a few. But the line is open and flowing properly at time of inspection, so it looks pretty good. And the only thing I would recommend is in the future, maybe have the line, once you kind of get a feel for whether or not they've been treating it or not, you could either try to use a chemical yourself, or maybe get the line scoped in a couple years and check for root growth and see how fast, if any, roots are growing in the line, and then base a maintenance schedule off of that and how close it is and how big of a change it is from now until then. But right now everything is open, flowing, structurally intact, and all the lines that we could inspect looked great. So that'll end the inspection at 225 Haver Road in Dayton, Ohio.